be remiss if we didn't.
Yep.
What's it like dealing with COVID in Ireland? Like, I know you got it, so you can share your experience, like what you have, because actually Dustin's dealing with the Omicron right now.
All I'm interested in, because
it's all we're interested in right now.
You look healthy and happy now.
Yeah.
I need to get.
What's the sauce? Oh boy, she cut out.
Damn. Oh, she just gotta click the button.
Yeah.
There we go.
Okay, there we go. Give us the sauce. All right.
Yeah, so I actually got COVID like the Monday straight after the game. So, and I didn't know I had it. We were walking about Chicago, me and Briggs and her partner's family. And I was like complaining all day. I was like, my head is aching. My lower back is aching. And like my legs were really heavy. And Sam was like, yeah, it's probably just the competition. Like, all the deadlifts the day before. And I was like, nah, maybe. But then I was like, oh, this feels a wee bit different. But thankfully I got home anyway. And then I had to do my 2-day test on the Tuesday. So I actually did like just a wee antigen test as soon as I get home, and it was positive. And I was like, oh. And then obviously my PCR came back positive, but like I knew something was up anyway. So yeah, basically like I was bedbound for a full like 2.5 weeks.
Yep. Okay.
But I got like extreme like lower back pain, hip pain, and like crazy headaches. And then my partner, he isolated with me for the 10 days, and then he caught it on my day 10. So we were stuck in the house for nearly a month after the games, so it was a wee bit miserable.
Okay.
But I only really feel back to like where I was at the games, like kind of within the last week or two. Like I really struggled at Rogue with my like breathing and stuff, and just like I was just really achy, and the hips and stuff were still really sore. So like I only feel back to myself now from the games. So it did take quite a while.
Oh, so now you feel neutral.
Yeah.
At this point. Oh my God.
Again.
Yeah.
So I definitely lost. Like I was literally bedbound, like in bed, not even able to, like I would say I walked, a total of like 100 meters in the space of 2.5 weeks after the games.
Okay.
Like I've never, even after like shoulder surgery, knee surgery, like I've always been active and done something. And it's the first time I would say from I was born that I've not done something for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
It was that now when you first came back to training, I'm sure it didn't resemble what you would resemble training.
No,
what was it? And then how did it feel the day after? That's what I want to know. What's the first thing you actually did? Like, I can do this RX. And then what did it feel the day after?
So my coach put me on the C2 bike for 60 minutes, just zone 2 heart rate.
Mm-hmm.
And I slept for 7 hours after that. No, I did. I just was like, right, I'm going to go lie down and go for a nap. And I woke up 7 hours later.
Now, is that like in the middle of the night, 7 hours later?
That was during the day. Like I think I trained, I usually at like 8 in the morning, trained till 10. And then I didn't wake up until the afternoon till I had to work. Like it absolutely floored me. Like I think it was nearly like 3.5 weeks of like nearly training for 60 to 90 minutes a day post COVID until I was actually able to increase volume.
Okay. So we've had Pete Bremner on, and like I trained with him at Westside Barbell, and so we know each other really well. He told me in Ireland, and like tell me this is true where you're from, but they had this huge issue. It was very bad at one point, and they were putting, this is what he told me, they were putting the deceased like in ice rinks to keep them.
Yeah.
Okay, this is a true thing. Now, is that because the hospitals are so small, or there was just that many deaths in Ireland?
There was like that many deaths at the start, but like our health service is absolutely so overwhelmed at the moment. Mm-hmm. Like if you have something wrong with you, like the chances are like you're not getting to. Like it is quite bad. And even like the private health sector is so overwhelmed. Like say for instance, like I needed like, I don't know, something happened to me, like just in general, like I hurt my wrist. Like normally I would get seen to within like 24 hours. Now it would be like 3 to 4 weeks of the private sector. So like everything is so backlogged. Like if you get sick or injured or anything right now in Ireland, like you're screwed.
Still from COVID. That's still the holdback really.
Yeah, it's a little bit scary. So it is, whenever you think about, like, you used to be able to get seen within like 12 to 24 hours, and now it's like 3 to 4 weeks. It is a wee bit scarier, because you're like, well, something really minor can turn into something quite serious if it's not to. So yeah, it is a wee bit crap, to be fair.
Yeah.
But hopefully we get through the other side of it. But quite a lot of like the doctors and nurses are actually all off at the minute with COVID. So I think like the stats today, like we're down like 30% on like healthcare workers at the moment already, just over Christmas. So that's going to have another big effect as well.
Okay. So given that you're just now getting back from that COVID state, and you're neutral, and everything's feeling normal, like as it should, what does that look like with your training leading into the Open?
So like we kind of just train as normal into the Open. We're kind of always like, we're kind of putting on like a little bit of a push on now at the minute for WODAPALOOZA, because I'm going individual for there.
Okay.
So focus is at that at the minute. We'll see how WODAPALOOZA goes. If it goes well, then like we'll just kind of like ride the wave through to the Open, and keep training as normal for quarterfinals, and then aim to like really ramp things up and peak into finals.
This is WODAPALOOZA. This is in Miami. Is that January 15th?
I think it starts on the 13th.
13th. Okay. So using that as a gauge, what are you gauging? As a CrossFit athlete, you gotta be, so good at so many things. So if you go there and like, well, I was shite at that. Do I take time to actually work on it? Or do you like, it was a one-off, I'll touch it once or twice? Or do you really hammer that away just because it's something so random? Like how do you use it as a gauge? That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, like we don't ever like really hammer like anything like singular. Like my coach is like, he's really smart. But like if we see a big hole, like obviously we'll identify like, is it strength? Is it like movement mechanics? Is it like cardiovascular? Like what is it? And then we'll work on that energy system versus just hammering one singular movement.
Okay. So your coach is very, very, very maniacal how he approaches this thing. Because if he's looking at all the big three, he's okay. That's awesome. That's so sweet. Yeah. Justin, so, what do you got?
I guess I want to take a step.
What's up, Emma?
Yeah, like so Toes the bar like has been one of my biggest weaknesses from day one in CrossFit, but like we never specifically worked on Toes the bar, but we've always just worked on just building core strength and obviously getting like my shoulder mechanics better. And it pays off, obviously with Toes the bar. So we don't ever just work on the specific exercise to get good at the exercise. We find out what is wrong, why we can't do it. So
I don't know. Dustin, I see you like nodding along, like smiling, like that's your coach's approach. That's a smart. Is he a guy or a gal?
It's James Jousey from Manchester, so he trains like well.
Okay, that's a smart dude. That's
yes, it's mind-blowing though at your level, the amount of coaches that you would get an alternative answer than that, and like that's the right answer. Like what you're doing, your approach, like that is the right answer. That's the right way. But I guess I'll go back on my first thing, which is prior to getting this competitive in the games and doing as well as you have, what were you doing that kind of built that level of competitor in you before? I've seen you've posted some four-wheeler racing stuff, so I'm guessing that there was definitely some competitor in you before, but what else were you doing? Because clearly there's a mindset that goes to competing at the level that you're at, and I'm just curious where you started developing that from the start.
So basically quad bike racing. So I started racing quads when I was 6 years old. And I stopped racing at 24, and that's when I transitioned to CrossFit. So I just think like it's always been in you. A lot of people say like whenever I first started CrossFit, I didn't have the mental side of it. But I was just like, if I can go into a corner against 40 guys, because I was the only female like in the premier division of the quad racing. And I was like, if I can go into the corner against 40 guys and the first person survives it, and there's 39 quads behind you, I was like, I think I've got a mental state. Because it's kind of like a do or die with quad racing. It's like you've got one bad turn and you're either in hospital, you can be like from a broken bone to basically in a grave kind of thing. So you're not really like with CrossFit, there's no risk in terms of, well,
yeah.
But it's not as if like you're going to take a risk and you're potentially going to die.
Right.
Or on a quad, like my partner, he got paralyzed. Like we both drove to the race together and he came back in a hospital, like, you know, in an ambulance, and, you know, he's in a wheelchair now for the rest of his life. You know, quad racing, it is dangerous and it is life changing. So I just think like that mental side of it, just knowing like the fear factor and everything else is just stood by me in CrossFit, because the worst can happen is like you come last. It's not as if, you know, you're not really going to end up like in a really bad state. You may like break an arm or a leg or dislocate a shoulder or do something, but it's not, there's no fear in it as such.
Okay.
Sure. Not if you're setting up for that.
No, that would be a major advantage going into that. Right, Dustin? Just not giving a shit. Like, yeah,
I mean,
that is whatever.
Yeah,
that's pretty.
You're getting on the line. Yeah.
So yeah, nothing really replaces the adrenaline of a quad race. Like CrossFit, you know, obviously it's my chosen sport now over the quad racing, but like you just do it. Like you're not going to lose anything. The worst that'll happen is like you lose the competition. So I always like just take it as that. It's just like, yeah, just get stuck in. Like it's not as if it's going to like change your life if you come last. Or like the quad racing, like if you fall off or something happens, 9 times out of 10 off, like you're going home in an ambulance. So it's just a different mental approach.
Yeah, I would assume that in quad racing, the further you are to the front, the more risk you are engaging in. Because if you fall off that, you know, you've got, like you said, you got 39 people behind you and they're not going slow. So I would assume like that plays a major role. Is that when you win quad racing, did you take that into account? Like you knew that when you were in front, you had to be even more judicious when you took turns and did everything you had to do?
No.
Oh, good.
You didn't think about that way. Racing, like soon as you put the helmet on and the gate drops, like none of those things enter your head.
Really? Okay.
Yeah. You're just like I'd be one of the best like starters at the quad race. I think it's because I'm like about 35 kilograms lighter than all the guys. So there's like probably near enough a 10 out of 10 chance I'm going into the corner first place. So I always kind of have the guys all behind me anyway. So because I typically was one of the best on the track. So but it's just a thrill. Like I raced in September there this year for the first time in like 2.5 years, and I said to like my husband David, I was like, I'm getting every single start this weekend. And he was like, but you haven't raced. And I was like, I don't care. I was like, I'm gonna lead the race. I'm gonna lead every race. And like I did. So like it is pretty cool. Like I just use it. It's just like a thrill now. Like this complete like adrenaline junkie.
Okay. So once you transition from that, you went into CrossFit. So Dustin and I were talking before you entered the room. We've seen a lot of cool garage gyms. Your gym is pretty epic. So where did that start? And then how has it gotten to where it is now? Because if people haven't seen it, you can check it out on YouTube on Box Rocks. And you got a whole outdoor area matted. So you can just do clean ladders. Like explain where it started and how it got to where it is now. Cause it's pretty epic.
Yeah. I kind of started in like my partner's like mom and dad's garage. So that was about 7 years ago. We started in there, and then we built our own house like 4.5 years ago. And I was like, I want a really cool gym. So we just obviously changed, and we've got like my home gym just literally just out the door. And then whenever lockdown happened last year, I was like, well, I couldn't do, because my garage gym is just like a normal 2-car gym. So I couldn't do handstand walks. I couldn't really do like long distance lunges and stuff. So I was like, to my partner, I was like, we need an outdoor gym. Because that was just the quickest solution, like straight away. So we just got like a contractor in, just built the outdoor gym. So now I can do, well, basically we did the CrossFit Games there in 2020, which was pretty epic.
Okay.
So it was, and then we've done semifinals. Me and Sam Briggs did semifinals in my outdoor gym as well this year. So it's pretty cool. So yes, we just kind of like set a plan, and now we've only just recently, about 2 months ago, got planning permission now to build another brand new facility. So we'll have a brand new gym now for this time next year. So I'll do absolutely everything from home. So I'll probably affiliate it. So like the open and quarterfinals and stuff here.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, did you custom make that roof so you could have a pegboard?
Yeah. So
it's great.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How
high does that go? How
so 15 feet.
15 feet. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So he just like kind of like screenshotted like the games one, and he was just like, "Meh, I'll just make you that." So he's really good. Like he made my outdoor rig and like all like the cool fencing and stuff around it. So like he's a welder fabricator. So really handy to have whenever you're doing.
Yeah, I mean, talking about CrossFit Games and quarterfinals and whatnot, like what's it like prepping to be, top 20, in that mix of top 20 females in the world when you are in a way removed from the country where the origin of it is? Like, do you feel as though it's a benefit to you to be in Ireland and to be to a certain extent separated from the rest of the crowd, like in America, or is that a disadvantage? What is that for you?
I don't really know. Like obviously, like for like the online stage, like quite a lot will talk. Like so, you kind of know where you're at, like during each stage. So, I don't think it's neither or. Like I don't really mind the online stages because like you do what you can do, and you kind of nearly, if your fitness is there and you're fit and healthy, like you're going to get through to the stage you need to. It's just performing when you actually have to perform. Like the only one really is semifinals, where you have to perform. The rest of them, you can kind of get through, as long as you're healthy.
Yeah.
And
okay, so you don't feel like it would be a behoovement to you to live in the U.S. the last 3 months leading up to the games?
No, not really.
Okay.
Not really. Okay. Obviously, like, I don't really mind. Like, we've got like quite a nice environment over here. Obviously, like if you've got like loads of training partners that are like willing to let you train alongside of them, but I don't really know a lot of the girls that I would just say, here, I'm gonna come over here for 3 months. Like, is that okay for joining you? But I think everyone has their own plan, and if you stick to your own plan, like, I would rather stick to my training plan. So I'm just going to be like, well, I wouldn't expect them to do my training, and so they shouldn't expect me to do their training. Leading into the competition, like I know what works for me leading into the competition, so I want to stick to what works for me.
Yeah. Right. Does Briggs, like, how many times have you trained with Briggs?
Oh, like hundreds.
Okay, about to say, like, met her twice, like through Westside, through CrossFit Conjugate. Great woman.
Yeah.
What when training with her, have you seen that killer eye yet? When she starts to like narrow in on you and she can sense the blood?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay. It's like, Dustin, if you ever, like, even when you ever meet Sam Briggs, if you can give her a hug, try to, because it's like hugging a pit bull. It's unbelievable. Am I wrong though, Emma? Am I wrong? You reach around and you're like, oh wow.
Once you get to know Sam, like she's a big softie, really.
Yeah.
So she is. Yeah, we've spent like quite a lot of time together. Like she'd stay here for like 2-3 weeks at a time. Like done the semifinals together. She flew in here. I flew to her for Rogue and the games, and she flew in here and prepped for DFC. So she's usually leading in the competitions. We'll spend about 2 weeks at each other's, depending where it's in the US or Europe. So no, like she just puts on like a harder shell, but she's not really.
Yeah.
There she is, but like fierce competitor.
Oh yeah. Dustin, what do you got? I feel like I'm hogging Emma all to myself here.
No, you're good. I'm letting you really take the reins on this one, conserving my energy.
Conserving your COVID energy.
Yeah. I guess maybe getting the mindset a little bit. You could speak to when you were first kind of making that conscious decision to, I'm going to compete at the highest level. And did you have any like moment where you're like, I want to go as far as I can, or you had the confidence that this can happen, but you had to be honest that I gotta get better at this. I gotta change this part of my lifestyle. Were you pretty dialed in and pretty focused, or did you have to start managing things better as far as whatever it might be? If you were lacking in recovery or sleep or other lifestyle things, did you have to like start to change things to bring it into like, this is what it looks like to be a professional athlete? Or did you have areas where you're like, I got to figure out how to be smarter in this certain area? Or did you have any kind of evolution in any of those areas?
Yeah, so like I kind of probably like owe quite a lot of it to Sam. Like I spent quite a lot of time with her. I think it was like 2016, 2017. And she was coming over here back and forth because she got like shoulder surgery and elbow surgery with like the surgeon and physio that look after me. In Ireland for quite a bit. And I kind of like realized, I was like, wow, like Sam goes to bed at 9:30. Sam eats breakfast before training. She has her protein shake prepared. She has this prepared. She knows that I'm going to eat lunch at this time, even if I don't feel like eating right now. Like she has a really nice like routine. And I was just like, if I felt like eating breakfast, I'd eat breakfast, but it wouldn't be like the priority. I would just grab like a protein bar and crack on. And if there was a movie on, oh sure, I might as well just watch the end of it because it's on now, kind of thing. But this was like back in 2016. This was very like the first 2 years of my 2 years of me starting to compete. And then I was like, flipping heck, like this is the difference. And then like I kind of followed in on her routine for the time she was staying with me, and I felt so much better. Training was getting better, energy was better, and I was like, wow, this is actually how it's meant to be done. And I've kind of like followed that. Like I still aim to go to bed for around 9:30, 10 o'clock. I'm up every day and around like that 7:15, 7:30 in the morning. So like I've quite a nice routine. The only thing different she does that I do is she likes to have porridge in the morning. I like to do my morning cardio fasted and then have my breakfast after. That's the only real difference. It's just my tummy just doesn't like to eat in the morning. But yeah, like she definitely got me into the way of having a better routine, and just taking nutrition more seriously, taking sleep more seriously, and then probably just like warm-ups and stuff as well, because she would be into the gym straight away. She had her routine where I was just like, what's on the board? Okay, let's just go on. I didn't really take as much care of my body at the start. But now obviously like we both have the same coach and stuff. So like I have my like routine I have every morning, and she has hers. So I definitely owe quite a lot of that to Sam for teaching me. Like probably she didn't teach me, she was doing it. I kind of like fought, but it's definitely it's been it's changed everything. It's changed how I am as an athlete. Like you're so much more regimented as well. Like if David's sitting up watching a movie, I'm like, right here, we're going to bed now. And he's flip sake, and I'm like, look, we're in this together. He's like, fine. So he's quite supportive as well. Like he'll come to bed early as well just to support me. So it is really good.
That's awesome. That's super awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I think something else that Dustin you'll be interested to know is when you go through your nutrition, is someone writing that for you, or are you doing that yourself?
So I just get like meals freshly prepared twice a week. So it's just like a local like a green grocer, so just fresh fruit, fresh veg, all like seasonal vegetables and stuff. So he just prepares everything for me. There's no crap in it. It's just good, like healthy food. And that's what I eat. So he gives me like 14 meals a week. So I'll eat those. So that's usually just my breakfast and lunch, and then I'll have like prepare my like snacks and morning like breakfast and evening dinner, like supper kind of thing. So it's usually just oats in and around that, and then just like snacks and carbs, drinks, protein shakes and stuff like that. So I just kind of know, like, if I feel good, energy's good, like I'll put on like the glucose monitor. I'll actually put that in today now, so I'll be 2 weeks out from the competition, and just dial things in a wee bit more specific leading into those 2 weeks.
So how do you glucose monitor, go into that a little bit more. How are you using that to your advantage?
Yeah, so basically, like, probably one of the biggest ones, whenever I landed to Sam before Rogue, so I was 2 weeks, no, it was about 10 days out from Rogue, like my blood sugars were like so low, like they were like in and around like 50 to 55, which I should have been sitting in around like 110. So like under like 55 should be like going to hospital. So I'd like obviously picked up like a little tummy bug or something when I was traveling over. So it was like the first 3 days I was like, holy crap, I'm so low. So I just like reduced training volume right down and just focused more on my recovery and nutrition for those 3 days. And then like literally come like the Friday, I was straight back up to the 110, 115 mark and my training. Then I was like, right, we're back on track here again. I started pushing training right into Rogue, and like throughout Rogue, like I was completely level the whole time. So it just kind of, it told me like, right, something isn't right here. So I just reduced the training volume because there was no point absolutely killing myself whenever my body was just saying something's not right here.
Is that something, was that something that Sam put you onto, the glucose monitor?
Yeah, so she uses that Super Sapien, so the app and stuff. So she anytime she's over, she just gives me a handful of them and I just use them. So they are quite good. I don't use them all the time, but like 2 weeks leading into the competition, just to monitor like your blood sugars and stuff, and just be a wee bit more cautious on your like nutrition or after and during training.
Okay, so you don't have an actual like caloric or macro count?
No.
Or do you? You don't. Okay. She's just a freak of nature, because I can't do that. I have to have everything counted. That's awesome.
I just think it added stress in my day. You know, because like I make sure, you know, before training I'll have like a banana, I'll be sipping on carbs drinks. And then straight after training, like I'll have like my porridge, protein, creatine, probably another banana, and then like a nap, get back up. I'll probably have like my lunch and then get into another training session where again I'll be sipping on carbs drinks. So like I never feel like I'm under, like I always feel like energy levels are quite good and stuff. Like if the energy's low, I obviously need to eat a wee bit more. And so yeah, I go off how I feel.
Okay. Yeah, no, that's when it comes to weighing, like accommodating stress, if it's going to add more stress to add that level of counting things, and it's just not worth it. I don't think. I have a lot of athletes that if they had to weigh food and count things down to the dime, which I don't think is necessary, that would be this extra stress load mentally. They'd be like, nope, that's not worth it. It's just not worth it. So yeah, there's lots of ways to do it. Yeah, and if you're in tune with your body, it'll lead you to right where you need to be. So that's cool.
Yeah, like I monitor, like I weigh myself every morning, and like I'm always within like three pounds. So I am like, so I just go like everything's fine. If I was way underweight, then I'd be like, right, flip. Obviously I've underate, but that very rarely ever happens. Like, you know, it does. So, but I think it's just experience as well. It's experience. Like I used to count everything for years, but again, it just stresses me out too much. So I just go on feel, and at the minute I'm performing. If I start underperforming, then I'll like be like, right here, let's crack back in here again. But as long as performance, numbers, results, body composition, everything looks and feels good, well then, why add the extra stress? Just focus on what I'm doing.
Yeah. What, transitioning from nutrition to training, I know you don't want to give away the McQuaid secret sauce, but what does your week look like? Like on a regular week, training wise, like when it comes to your monostructural, like how are you doing it?
Yeah, so I do conditioning every single day. Okay. Every day starts with at least like anything from like 30 to 90 minutes conditioning. So usually like Mondays in around 45, 50 minutes, Tuesdays about 90 minutes conditional or like zone 2 work. Wednesdays in around that 40, 50 minutes. Thursday is like my rest day, so I have swim club tonight, and then I've got my like bike session after the call. So that's like 6 minutes. Fridays usually like running intervals with like leg volume. So again, in around that 40 minutes. Saturdays the actually the only day I don't do conditioning, but I'll usually do just like a 20-minute heart rate opener, and then we've got like, it's always like Saturday's WOD day, and then Sunday is swim day again, and if I feel good, an optional like bike session. So like every day starts, that's how my day starts. And then like Monday usually is like big strength day and accessories. Tuesdays usually like push-pull gymnastics with like probably like a single leg, like at the minute we're doing like single leg pistol progressions, and then like probably a big massive core session. Wednesdays, for the first time ever, my coach has given me WODs on a Wednesday, which I'm loving. So I'm not going to tell him that because he'll take it away from me. So like Wednesday WODs with like usually like structural stuff. Thursday's the rest day, swim and bike, and then Friday's usually a big strength day with more like accessories, core work, and then Saturday's always like WODs. So we're doing like, I think we've got like 5 different WODs on this Saturday, but it'll just be like, some are like 6 minutes, some are 9 minutes, a couple of like sprint stuff, and then I think we're finishing with like 2K run, 2K row, 2K ski kind of thing. So like a bit of conditioning at the end. So it's not like a complete beat down, but it's just quite a nice blend of kind of everything throughout the week.
Gotcha.
Your strength day, does James rotate around like what your primary focus is on that day? Like will he like spend X amount of blocks of weeks working on pulling and then like a squat, or how is that structured out for you?
Yeah, so like the last phase we were kind of working on like some like doubles, touch and goes. For me, like I love doing singles. Like if there's a workout with 100 singles, like the semifinals workout, the snatch workout, like I'm so good at just turning over singles. But if that was touch and go reps, it would have been a different workout for me.
Yeah.
So we were just like, the focus there post Rogue up until this week was like all on touch and go stuff. Now this phase we're moving into like cluster sets again. So just again, that 2 weeks leading into competition, we'll just like refine that like that 20-second work. So we will also kind of replicates more what you'll do in a competition. So working more at those top end numbers, that sort of like 75 to 90% work on the 20 seconds for multiple reps. So kind of the focus at the minute for the ollie lifting, and then at the strength we're just working on I don't know what it's called, but the 10-5-3-1 strength work.
Okay.
So we are, because again, just leading into the competition, that usually works quite well for me, just getting the legs and even the upper. We're doing that for front squats, back squats, and push jerks, the 10-5-3-1. So it's quite nice.
Yeah. That 75 to 90%, is that in that workout you're ramping up to a 90%, or is that through a course of weeks? Okay.
Like for instance, like there, when was it? On Friday. No, it was like last Friday we had like the snatch waves. So I did like round 1 was all at like 60 kilos, round 2 was at 65 kilos, round 3 was at 75 kilos. So it was every 20 seconds for 3 minutes. So just that, we'll just do one like top set at the heavier weight kind of thing. So yeah, so you're just getting a feel for that heavier load, leading the competition, have that confidence. Like I'll just turn that over every like 10 to 15 seconds on the day.
Do you feel like that works really well, especially for Olympic lifting, to do things on the minute and ascending? Because the people I've worked with, when they've done anything similar to that seems to work really well. It just gets them into a fluid position again and again and again. Does that feel like by the time you get to like 85, 90, it feels like grease on a ball bearing, or does it feel rough?
No, like it always feels better towards the end. I think for all CrossFitters, like even like in the open workout, we had to do the WOD into the clean hang clean jerk or whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I just love lifting under fatigue. I always lift better.
Mm-hmm.
So I do. I hate an out and outright 1 RM. I just prefer like a workout and then crack on into the 1
RM. So since you said 1 RM, what are your best lifts?
My best snatch is 87.5, clean and jerks 110.
Okay. What's your squat and pull?
Oh, my squats.
Oh.
This is gonna expose me.
Don't say it then. We're not here to expose you.
I don't mind. My back squat's shy.
Okay.
My back squat's only 125 kilos.
Okay.
So it's my weakest of all lifts. And my deadlift's 175.
Okay.
So I'm not good squatter, but I can I'm good at like that light to moderate weight.
I mean, if anything, I just think that's scary, because obviously you can make that number grow. So how much damage do you do if those numbers do climb up, even though it's not everything's correlated to just raw strength, obviously. But if anything, that's on some level, it's an advantage, because you still have room that you could probably, I'm assuming you have set goals, or you just kind of fluidly, you're making progress throughout the year, or do you have really tangible things that you sit down and say, like, I'm going to improve on these things in these areas?
Like I've said to my coach, like, we've had we've made like really good progress in my squat, and then COVID struck me, and like my hips and my back were so bad that I physically couldn't squat. Sure. So like feels like the gains that we made, we've lost. So it's like you're kind of like rebuilding that squat again. So like for me, like I really want to, I can split jerk 125, but like my front squat's only like 118. So I was like, I want to clean and jerk 115. But semi-finals, that's just my own personal goal. I was like, I'd probably power clean it before I'll squat clean it, but I was like, I don't really care. I just want to clean and jerk it. So I've told my coach, like, I was like, my power stuff is so strong. Like, I can power clean 110, I can squat clean 110. So I was like, we don't actually work on my explosive power. So I was like, I just believe if we get more explosive, like the squat's gonna become easier as well. So I was like, let's work on the explosive power, work on my strengths as well as my weaknesses, and the weaknesses will get better as well. So we're working on like loads of single leg work, loads of speed work as well. So like I think so yeah, we've set like we micro goals, but obviously the main goal is just to be fit and healthy and in a better shape than last year for the CrossFit Games. So obviously he keeps me well grounded on like, what's your main goal? But yeah, I just think like for me, like we definitely have to start working a wee bit more on my strengths as well as the weaknesses.
Sure.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think when you're talking about the squat as big, and I mean, Dustin, like we've talked about this before, where male to female, like lower body stuff is pretty much equal. I think even Sam said that. Sam Dancer even brought that up at some point. It's like everything's equal. But some people, like, I think I don't know. I got to reach out to your coach and pick his brain, because he knows, he understands strength and conditioning. That's one of the biggest things. Like I would tell, I mean, Dustin, you're big in single leg work. You've got a monster squat, and you love single leg work.
Love single. There's multiple months where I only do single leg, and I'll take squats out of the equation just to, especially if I've been doing a lot of strength work, and I just feel like I've been compressing things a lot just to continue that longevity, because I want to still be able to move big weights, when I'm 50 years old, hopefully. I'll just do only single leg stuff, just dumbbell stuff. And I'll put myself in the weakest position oftentimes too, where it's, rear foot elevated dumbbell or front rack, or just putting myself in the position where I cannot load it very much, but it's still incredibly taxing. Or then you're just changing the technique if you're doing an isometric hold or eccentrics or something like that. Because one, there's some progress to be made just using those techniques, but then two, I'm not continually hitting that load the body with more weight button, because I think you can only play that for so long, once you get to a certain strength, like relative strength for your body, before you start really rolling the dice on getting an injury or acquiring an injury. And I feel like I've had to learn that through the hard route with things too. So I mean, that's why it's a benefit of clearly having a good coach, and then, you know, having someone like Sam kind of being able to watch and learn vicariously and get some of those tips and things, so you can avoid having to learn things the hard way sometimes. Because you know, if you're not competing, it's one thing. I mean, you still don't want to do it, because longevity is a huge thing, I think, that we all want when we transition from whatever we're doing to you know, life after that. Obviously, I think if it's in your heart to be a competitor and compete and be in shape, it's never going to leave. So that's the other thing. Like, you want to maintain some level, you know, for your entire life, or as long as you can. So I mean, it's always in the back of, I think, anyone's head, to like, what does longevity look like? How do I continue to make progress? And how am I happy and still make, you know, training feel good too? Because that's another mental factor that's, you know, outside of competing, but still important.
Yeah. That's one of the, like, I PB'd my deadlift by doing no deadlift. I did a lunge. I was doing a lunge, and then we went competition. Like, I've never maxed out my deadlift, only in competition, but there's a 1 arm deadlift, and I was like I'm gonna lift whatever I can lift overhand with no belt. And I literally pulled, like, my old 1 arm was 155. I opened with 155 and was like, put 165 on, went fuck, and then put 175 on, and did 3 lifts and stopped. But like, there was 180, 185 just sitting there. I just didn't take it on the day because I'd won, so I was like, meh. Sure. But like, I hadn't touched a deadlift, and someone actually said to me at the games, they were like, it was the deadlift freestyle handstand push-up workout. Someone came up to me and they were like, is all you do is deadlift? And I was like, I don't deadlift. And they were like, and I was like, I said, I literally didn't even look at it. I was like, Joyce, do we deadlift? And Joyce was like, no, Emma doesn't deadlift. Like, they didn't believe me, but
I'm sure they didn't. Sure, they thought you're just messing with them.
But like, we don't do a lot of deadlifts. Like, we do a lot of lunges, so we do, and like, my deadlift shoots through the roof. Yeah. So like, but yeah, again, it's just a difference on, like, you know, you don't have to do one exercise to get good at that exercise.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. No, it's very interesting that you say you ever pull, but when you go to pull, you PR, because that's something that at Westside is very, very big, because the deadlift in and of itself, you're doing it all the time. It's very taxing.
Yeah,
it's
for sure.
Especially doing what you're doing, trying to do as much volume as you're doing to get better, incredibly taxing. And there was a lifter there. He stopped. His deadlift had ground to a stop, and he did not pull anymore. He didn't do speed pulls, max ever pulls. He just pulled sleds, did farmers walks, reverse hybrids, auxiliary stuff, and then I want to say I watched him pull 6 plates cold. It was just loaded on a complete dare. Someone dared him, and he's like, "Oh, fuck you." Walked over to it, picked it up, beltless, cold. It was the most unbelievable. Wow, that's like, 60 pounds away from your all-time best. So I 110% agree. And the person at the games that snuffed at you, they don't know what they're doing.
Yeah. It is one of those things. Like, I think like the accessories is very underestimated within the CrossFit world. It's the same. Like, we took out gymnastics for nearly about 8 weeks and just worked on like loads of single arm work, and I PB'd my ring muscle ups, my bar muscle ups, my chest bars. Like, I got like 5 unbroken peg boards, like, just by doing like single arm work, loading the lats. And it was just like, turns out I need to destroy. It is quite exciting. I love like that side of training as well, and just seeing like kind of like how little CrossFit you can do and still get better CrossFit. More so in like the off season. Obviously, like, there's a huge benefit doing CrossFit in season.
Right.
But season, I like to try and like go away from it to come back and see if you're better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, Do you I know we're coming up on an hour. I know you got a bike ride you gotta do. I gotta steal you at least for 12 more minutes, get this hour in. And
it's okay.
And when you were in Texas, I saw a post that you met Luke and Tom.
Yep.
Okay, so what are they like in real life? And B, how big are Tom's hands in real life? Tom Stoltman's hands.
They're freaking massive.
Yeah, I bet they are.
They're so nice guys. Like so down to earth. And just like they were great crack. Like we could have stood and spoke to them for hours. Like they were so nice. And yeah, we just chatted. Like it was just like a normal conversation. Like we had been mates forever kind of thing. Like real nice guys. So I'm actually really excited. I think like they're on about gonna come over to Ireland at some point because they only live in Scotland, which is like 40-minute flight away from me. So so yeah, it's actually really cool. So they're hopefully gonna try and get over in summertime, which would be awesome.
Okay. And then this next question is more of a fun question. And I ask it pretty much to any CrossFitter I ever work with at Westside or my facility, anyone who's competing at that level. Are you familiar with the LeBron James versus Michael Jordan conversation?
No.
Oh, good. Perfect. We'll skip that. We'll go right over that. We'll just go right over that. All right. It's fine. My question is this. All right. You've competed against her and you've trained with her. Sam Briggs in her prime. Tia, obviously in her prime. Who's gonna win? A game, 4 days of just nonstop. Just who's gonna win?
It probably just depends on the test. Like Sam in certain given workouts is like world class. You give her a toes to bar workout, you give her a running workout, you give her a light barbell cycling, light dumbbell cycling, and no one can touch her, or any kind of like any machine or erg. But like Tia is just a complete all rounder. Like she's no weakness. It's just like the strength element for Sam. So it probably, I don't know. It would have to be like,
they never want to tell us. They never want to tell us. Okay.
Sam's world class in certain exercises, like, and like even still to this day, like I just know like certain something will come up and Sam will just spank me for about like 5 minutes. But the heavy barbell comes into it, like I just know that's where you can obviously gain that time. It's just heavy barbell for Sam's just going to be that weaker element. So if the workout, if it was Dubai, like you can't, like Sam performed like exceptionally well because there were like 3 out and outright like just engine workouts. There was nothing heavy that was going to slow her down. So she's still the best in the world in her field in those workouts. But no, definitely not going to answer that. I like both.
That's fair, because I have a follow-up because I was prepared. I thought you might not answer that question. Let me ask you this. You put Sam and Tia in a cage, in an octagon. Who's coming? Oh, nice. Okay, there we go. Got an answer. All right. So in an octagon scenario, Sam would win. If that was the final workout, Sam would win that.
I'm assuming by your Pitbull hug comment that's what you're looking for.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Waiting for them to bring that into the games, you know.
What? Like
a round robin octagon match.
Yeah.
No, yeah, she's definitely like she's done like I think she's done like a charity boxing match and all before, so she's got a wee bit of experience.
Okay. So out of curiosity, when you are in Ireland, how often do you ever go to Scotland or England or out Spain to train with other games people, or is that not a cultural thing in the CrossFit world in Europe?
I think they'd come to her. She's got the sweet garage gym.
That's true. That is true.
And like the only person I travel to train with is Briggsy. I said I don't travel to train with anyone. I actually train now full time with one of the Irish athletes, Michael Smith. So he was at the games in 2019. He placed 26th overall. So we are now training full time together. Now we're just over 3 weeks training now full time together. So like we're kind of like, we're very, very similar athletes. He's exceptional at gymnastics. So like that gives me like that little bit of a kick up the ass that I have to like chase him a bit more. Obviously he's really good at barbell cycling. I'd probably be a little bit better off like the CrossFit-y stuff, kind of like the dumbbell snatch, burpee boxing movers, or like kind of like the more body weight stuff. And then him on an erg, he's an absolute weapon. So it's really training with him. So having him now, like I don't feel I need to train or go anywhere else. If the workout's scaled appropriately, like it's aggressive.
Right.
Like,
aggressive. Does he come to you, or do you all meet somewhere?
So like he lives like his gym's 30 minutes away from me, so it's actually like 3 minutes from my parents' house. So it's quite easy for me to go up and see mum and dad. So he would come down to me on a Monday. I go to him on a Tuesday, Wednesday. We do recovery on a Thursday together, and then we just alternate the weekends, his place and then the gym across the road from me. I train in Boundary CrossFit, so it's quite nice. It's just like a 50-50 split.
Okay, so that's his name's Michael Smith.
Michael Smith, yeah.
Michael Smith. Okay. All right.
He's probably one of the bigger CrossFit athletes you'll see.
Like physically bigger?
He's massive.
Oh.
We like bringing big CrossFit athletes on the show.
I like that. We like that. How much does he deadlift?
His pulls are actually really. He's actually for such a big guy, gymnastics is his strength and his weakness is lifting.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, it's just crazy. You look at him, you're like, that guy is going to destroy everyone in a lift. But it's actually the gymnastics is his strength. So it's quite funny. But he's leveling up at the minute. It was just like how I was training before.
Okay.
Noticing a big difference. Obviously, starting to do like more accessories, single leg work, and bringing that side of training in. So I'm quite excited to see where he goes this year.
Okay.
Awesome.
All right. Well, I mean, we know you got a bike ride you gotta get on, as it's because you're resting today. So, I mean, Dustin, do you have anything you wanna ask for?
No, just I appreciate you coming on and taking your time. It's hard to link up these three time zone calls. So no, we just appreciate you coming on and wish you the best, and hopefully you continue to fully recover over everything, and wish you the best of luck.
No problem. Thank you. And I hope you recover from COVID.
See, I feel like I'm in the heat of the eye of the storm on some level right now. So, but I think I just turned a corner. So we'll see. Just easy taper, and I'll probably start with an easy bike ride myself. Yeah.
And get 7 hours sleep afterwards.
right into it. Right into a 7-hour nap. That sounds glorious. All right, Emma, we'll let you go. Again, thank you for coming on. We're gonna be watching you, so we're stoked to see where you're gonna go. You're an awesome person, awesome personality, and you seem like you got all the pieces lined up. So hell yeah, full steam ahead. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah,
thank you.
Make it happen.
Absolutely.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Well, she's just full of life.
She is.
Just full of life. Unlike you. Just not full of life.
Not full of life. I'm trying.
You look white. You look really white today.
You look
really white.
I haven't seen the sunshine in 3 damn days.
You haven't been outside the COVID box?
Mm-mm.
Oh, delicious. Is anyone